How can we prevent corporations from causing harm to people and the planet? Corporations have enormous freedom to do business all over the world, but rules to keep them responsible and accountable have not kept pace. Complex corporate structures and supply chains enable them to cut costs and maximize profits by operating in countries where laws are not enforced and human rights are not protected. Did you know that over half of Europe's biggest companies have been linked to adverse human rights and environmental impacts all around the world? Or that globally, forced labor generates annual profits of $150 billion? Among those profiting are corporations such as clothing brands, food producers, electronics makers, and mining companies. It's high time governments updated the rules to make sure corporations respect human rights and the environment wherever they operate. The solution? Putting human rights due diligence into law. Human rights due diligence is a process for businesses to undertake in order to know their human rights impacts and to ensure they don't cause or contribute to causing harm. First, human rights due diligence means companies identify, assess, and prioritize the human rights and environmental risks in their operations, as well as in their supply and subcontracting chains. Relevant risks such as forced labor, oppression of trade unions, or dangerous waste disposal. Second, companies must make a plan and allocate resources to prevent those risks from happening. For example, by exercising influence over their subsidiaries and suppliers. Third, companies must mitigate the harm they cause or contribute to. They have a responsibility to put things right. When harm occurs because a company did not take reasonable steps to stop the risks from materializing, victims must be able to claim remedy in courts where the company is based. They must have access to justice. Finally, human rights due diligence means a company must account for how it does all this, meaning it should be transparent about how it identifies, prevents, and mitigates its human rights risks. Putting it into law. Human rights due diligence was first described in the 2011 United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights. But 7 years later, only few companies are practicing it, and they continue to be undermined by others that don't, leading to more unfair competition, more dirty profits, and more harm. France is one country that has already decided to put human rights due diligence into law for its biggest companies. The EU has also passed due diligence rules for the import of minerals from conflict areas. Laws like these respond to growing public demand for more responsible business. But there is still a long way to go. From factories and farms in the global south to European markets and department stores, now is the time to update the rules on corporate responsibility and accountability. We need new laws to make businesses respect human rights and the environment, with real consequences for companies that fail to act. No more dirty business, no more dirty profits. Putting human rights due diligence at the heart of business practice and ensuring access to justice for victims of business harm will be a major contribution to a more responsible business sector that is better for people and the planet.